Can I get your attention, please? We've got, thank you. We've got a number of guests, award winners who also got a few other commitments, so we're going to start this a little early. But please keep enjoying your lunch. But before we begin the actual awards, I'd like to just take a moment to talk about our board of directors. And they each serve as presidential appointees. The president nominates the chair, the vice chair, and one other director. Actually nominates all five, and the Republican Party suggests two other directors. And we have five directors, including myself. And I'd like to just take a moment to acknowledge them, let them stand, and just so everybody knows who they are. So let me first start with Wanda Felton, who is our vice chair. Wanda serves as vice chair of the board, is doing a spectacular job of directing the bank's focus and attention on sub-Saharan Africa. She and I have made 2 trips together. She's made a few more trips without me, but really has taken a real focus. And this is a key mandate of President Obama. It's a key interest of many, many members of Congress, and Wanda's really been taking a great leadership role in that. So thank you very much, Wanda Felton. Pat Louie, if you could just stand for a moment. Pat Louie is the first Hawaiian to ever serve, I think, on the bank's board. But more importantly, she has very, very deep experience in Asia. When we met, she told me about how GM made the decision to put Buick as the car to be sold in China versus Chevrolet or Cadillac. And she has a real keen insight on Southeast Asia, has been really leading up our efforts in the ASEAN countries. We made a trip together. She's made a number of trips since then. And she's also taken a great focus on our women and minority-owned portfolio. I mentioned earlier today we had a record year last year, and also more outreach to Asia Pacific Islands. So let's give Pat a round of applause and acknowledge her for her great work. Sean Mulvaney, where is Sean? There he is. Sean Mulvaney is another director of ours. Sean came to Ex-Im Bank from the German Marshall Fund, spent extensive time on Capitol Hill working with Congressman Colby, who's also a personal friend, and Speaker Hastert, and has really had a keen interest in the bank's development, in staff, and how we deeply can make sure this is a better and stronger and more resilient institution. So thank you, Sean. Let's give him a round of applause. Now, last but not least, and before Director Walther takes the stage, who is going to be running our awards program today, I want to say a few words about Larry in particular. Some of you may know, but Larry's term as a director concluded in January. There's a 6-month extension that is granted by Congress. He will be stepping down at the end of his term on July 20th. And I wanted to just take a moment to acknowledge his service to the bank. Before joining the bank, he was at TDA, the agency that Lee Zack currently runs. They actually worked together at that time. So he really understands the trade and export area exceedingly well and has brought that expertise here. He also was head of the Economic Development Agency in Arkansas under Governor Huckabee, which he has promised to introduce me to before his time is up here. But in every one of these things, whether it's at TDA, whether it's in the state of Arkansas, whether it's been at Ex-Im Bank, Larry has been focused on jobs and finding ways to help more companies create jobs, either through exports or in building the economy in Arkansas. He has, I would call it a long, just give you 4 longs, career in public service, but he also worked in telecommunications for many, many years. He is a great traveler. Larry and I took a business development trip to India about 7 weeks ago. Also went to Turkey. Has also been meeting with exporters in Arkansas and many other in the middle of the country, and making sure that they participate actively in the global markets. I have met his wife Janice, who keeps Larry in line when he's not on the road. Even when he's on the road, I think she keeps in line. They have 2 terrific children, Bill and Mandy, and 7 grandchildren. So one thing I will say, Ex-Im Bank is not and has never been a partisan institution. There are no red jobs, there are no blue jobs, there's simply American jobs. And nobody understands that better than Larry Walther. So he has brought great energy, financial insight, rigor, keen questions at board meetings, and all of us are going to miss Larry when he steps down in July. Particularly, I will miss Larry when he steps down in July. So let me give you Larry Walther, our Master of Ceremonies.
I guess I can thank Fred for that nice introduction, but Fred, don't be telling that in too many places, especially on the Hill, because since I'm on the other side of the aisle, I don't want them to think that, that I'm getting too close to the Democratic administration.
Not a chance.
The other thing I want to point out that I'm the second person from Arkansas that's been on the board of the Ex-Im Bank, Maria Haley, that many of you may know, who actually succeeded me as the director of the Department of Economic Development under Governor Mike Huckabee. And the other thing is, there were 2 Arkansans on the agenda here at the Ex-Im conference. Mac McClarty, who's an old friend of mine, a great treasurer from Arkansas. He and I are both from L.A. Y'all probably did not know this, but we're both from L.A. Now, in Arkansas, that's Lower Arkansas. Now, I didn't have a classmate in elementary, or excuse me, in nursery school or kindergarten whose name was Bill Clinton. Now, I would like to, I thought about this when you introduced Mac, or when he was being introduced. Who benefited more from that relationship between Bill and Mac? Both of those are 2 outstanding individuals, and I'm sure that that relationship they helped each other over many years, and I know they continue to do that. Mac and Bill are treasures of the state of Arkansas, and I just wanted to make that comment. The other thing I'd like to say is I hope that y'all are y'all, that's an Arkansas term, by the way, Southern, that you've enjoyed the morning session. Fred's speech was outstanding as usual. Our 2 panels were outstanding also. It's great to hear the academics and who talk about things that they study and look at it from a little different perspective. Most of them aren't out there like you are doing the day-to-day business of exporting, but it's good to have their perspective, and I hope that you can take something away back to your home, to your country, from the sessions we had this morning. We'll have more this afternoon and tomorrow. So I want you to eat your lunch, but what we're going to do is going to have the presentations. We have several awards to make this time. When Ex-Im pays tribute to the exporters of the U.S., what we're doing is we're setting the we're doing that to people who are setting the standard for exports throughout the country. Like the Academy Awards, we here at Ex-Im Bank like to honor the stars within the United States export community. These are the companies that excel in their mission and contribute to U.S. job growth. We're proud to be associated with the hardworking men and women who make these companies what they are today. Now, our first award is the Chairman's Award. So what I'd like to do, since it is the Chairman's Award, I think I'm going to turn the podium back over to Chairman Hochberg so he can make this presentation, which I think is appropriate. Thank you.
This is actually the only award that I get the sole vote. The rest is a group process. But the Chairman's Award is something I initiated last year, and so we have, this is a 2-year tradition. And this year's Chairman's Award is being given to Tom Donahue, who is President of the United States Chamber of Commerce. So let's give Tom a round of applause. Now, you all know the Chamber. It is a key voice for American businesses and entrepreneurship. And as you drive by that building, it's got the jobs banner right in front. Tom and his team did an extraordinary job on our reauthorization campaign, was one of the key rational voices on behalf of Ex-Im Bank, was very key in making the case and so people understand how we contribute. And many of you were here last year, as Tom famously said, the bank makes money. So on top of that, Tom did a spectacular job. We launched our Global Access Program for small businesses at the Chamber. Tom Donahue hosted us. Chamber hosted us. We had NAM, a number of other partners there, but the Chamber of Commerce took the lead and takes the lead in so many of these things. Over the years I've been in Washington, he has become what I would call a personal friend, has been a great supporter, a great advisor, and this is an award that it was an easy choice this year to say this award needs to go to Tom Donahue. So thank you, Tom. Thank you for your spectacular work.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and my congratulations to all the honorees today for their contributions to supporting as well as benefiting from this extraordinary organization. Fred, I need to thank you for the courage that you've shown in advancing the interests of the bank in a difficult political and economic time. And all of us at the Chamber and all of us in the business community want to extend to you our thanks for a job well done. It is an honor for me to be recognized, but the real kudos belong to the dozens of skilled professionals at the Chamber, in our international department, and our lobbying communications people who took this on as an extraordinary effort for an extraordinary benefit. Every day they do the hard work of advancing trade and educating the public about what you do, and we deeply appreciate them. Last year, the Congress reauthorized the Ex-Im Bank as one of the Chamber top priorities. We pushed hard, and they did it after a lot of pressure. But they did it for good reason. The bank is an important engine for job creation in this country. The finance and guarantees that they provide are vital to companies of every size. 80 years of lending history has shown that Ex-Im financing exposed the taxpayers to very little, if any, risk. Even better than that, taxpayers even benefit. In the last 6 years or so, I think they've made $4 billion, keep making. The bank also helps put our money where our mouth is when we're calling for bold trade agendas that affect not only our economies but global interests. And when I talk about the Chamber's trade agenda, I like to remind folks that 95% of the people we want to sell something to don't live here. And the bank is extremely important in moving this forward. For large companies, for small companies, for medium-sized companies. And I just was talking to one of our members, Ms. Jenny Pickles from North Carolina, an extraordinary story about how they've used the bank to advance their business. You've got a long program ahead of you. I'm going to skip a couple of pages of this and just end with a very important message. There is trade to be done, and trade that this country has to do. We need to get the Trans-Pacific Partnership done. We need to get a trade agreement put together with the Europeans. Remember, they're our largest export partner, and they're sliding. We need to move on that, and we need to take advantage of the negotiations that are about to start with 50 countries on trade and services. Let me tell you, we've got challenges on spending and income in this country, and trade is an extraordinary way to get there, and Ex-Im is the key to the door. Thank you very much, Fred. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I really appreciate this.
Okay, we got the chairman taken care of. Tom, I'd just like to give my personal thanks to you and your team at the U.S. Chamber. You do outstanding work. We really appreciate what happened last year. We have another year coming up. 14. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, let's see. Where are we going now? The winner of the Small Business Exporter of the Year. The winner is Auburn Leather Company. The recipient is Lisa Howitt, Auburn's president, accompanied by Mark Klein with the XM Bank's Midwest Regional Office, who oversaw the bank transaction. Auburn Leather is a manufacturer of leather laces for footwear and sporting equipment. Since Auburn Leather's first year, when it had 12 employees and $900,000 in sales, the company has grown to over 120 employees with more than $20 million in sales, $15.6 million of which was shipped to 48 different countries. The ability to meet the demand was enabled by XM Bank. The assignment of Auburn's insured export accounts receivable gives lenders the confidence to provide working capital advances. These funds have supported the growth of the firm and has added over 30 jobs in the last 2 years. With this uptick in demand for the product, if it continues, Lisa will be looking to hire an additional 20 employees. It is also important to note that Auburn is bringing the manufacturing component, this manufacturing component, that was formerly outsourced to Mexico back to Auburn, Kentucky. Thank you. Okay, our third award winner is the Lender of the Year. J.P. Morgan is the winner this year. The recipient is Lillian Labott, Managing Director, Treasury Services, and is accompanied by John McAdams, CEO and VP of Export Finance for XM Bank. J.P. Morgan has partnered with XM Bank on numerous occasions to promote the U.S. exports and support U.S. jobs. The company ranks as the third largest user of XM Bank's working capital program, participating in 36 transactions that total $291 million. $181 million of that were devoted to small businesses. J.P. Morgan was the first to sign the Master Guarantee Agreement for participation in the Supply Chain Finance Program. XM Supply Chain Finance Guarantee is an innovative product that provides liquidity and strengthens the U.S. export supply chain to help create and maintain jobs, especially for the small business suppliers. Additionally, J.P. Morgan extended an XM Bank guarantee loan totaling $35 million to Devco International, LLC of Tulsa, Oklahoma, for the design and construction of a sulfur purification plant in Mosul, Iraq. Thank you. I should mention also that Fred has an assistant back there helping him. That's Summer Jackson, who works at XM and is a vital part of my office. Without her, I would be in deep trouble, trust me. So thank you for being here, Summer. All right, now we have the Broker of the Year. Congratulations to Meridian Finance Group. And I think the Meridian Finance team is here. Could they stand up to be recognized? Where are they? Where are you? Thank you. The recipient is Gary Mendel, president of Meridian Finance Group, accompanied by Amy Shinkman, our director of broker relations. Meridian Finance Group has led the way in connecting exporters, with XM booking more than $300 million in XM authorizations in fiscal year 2012. This included insurance policies for 106 small business exporters that were new to the Export-Import Bank, as well as larger exporters and banks that had never used XM Bank programs before. Additionally, Meridian has generated the most global credit express referrals to date. This award marks the third time Meridian has been recognized by Ex-Im Bank as Broker of the Year. Meridian has been doing business for 20 years and has been working with Ex-Im Bank for almost the whole time. Thank you. Thank you. The fifth award is the Sub-Saharan Africa Exporter of the Year. The award goes to the General Electric Company. The recipient is Mark Kleinman. Come on out, Mark. He's the Senior Managing Director, Global Sales and Project Finance, Global Growth and Operations. He told me to shorten that, but I didn't. And is accompanied by Ben Todd, the bank's Development Officer for Africa. GE Capital received a $9.5 million loan guarantee from Ex-Im Bank to support the sale of a GE water chloramat system and GE marine and stationary generator set to Water Treatment Technology and Chemical Company Nigeria Ltd, Watcom. The products will be used in a new sodium hydrochloride plant constructed by Watcom in Kaduna, Nigeria. The Fidelity Bank of Lagos is participating in the project, and I'd also like to point out that Mr. Maman, who is the CEO of Watcom, is here today, and he will be speaking on a panel later this afternoon. Now, we're pleased to have you here. Watcom's environmentally friendly plant will improve the lives of over 300 million people in West Africa by supplying clean, potable water through disinfection by way of sodium hydrochloride produced in Nigeria. Likewise, the plant will contribute to the reduction of waterborne diseases, which account for over 70% of the deaths in Nigeria. Amazing. Thank you. Okay, we have the sixth award now, and it's Renewable Energy Exporter of the Year. The winner is Firm Green. The recipient is Steve Wilburn, Firm Green CEO, and is accompanied by Craig O'Connor, Director of the Office of Renewable Energy and Environmental Exports. Firm Green is a small renewable energy company that benefited from a $48.6 million loan from Ex-Im Bank, supporting exports of equipment and services for the development of the Novo Gamacho biogas project in Brazil. Firm Green estimated that the Novo Gamacho project directly generated 165 new jobs at its facility, and other companies in 7 states of Indiana, Wisconsin, Ohio, California, Michigan, Missouri, and Texas. That should have been Arkansas, okay? It also supported jobs for Firm Green and other U.S.-based companies in Brazil, providing construction and management services. The transaction was Ex-Im Bank's first major financing for biogas reclamation and development. Ex-Im Bank's 12-year loan was vital because long-term financing of renewable projects is very limited in Brazil. I'd also like to add, I know Steve pretty well, he's on the board, the Ex-Im Advisory Board, that he is a decorated Vietnam veteran. He wears the Purple Heart and is a member of our advisory board. And Steve, I just want to additionally thank you for your service to our country. Thank you. Seventh award, City-State Partnership of the Year. The winner is San Antonio Small Business Development Center International Trade Center. The recipient is Jaime Martinez, Senior International Business Consultant, Texas International Business Accelerator, accompanied by Ex-Im City and State Manager Michael Jackson. The International Trade Center is one of the largest and the most successful trade assistance organizations in Texas. It is a strategic component of the University of Texas at San Antonio Institute for Economic Development and the South and West Texas SBDC network, and serves over 79 counties in Texas. Established in 1992, its mission is to provide business and high-value trade consulting services, cutting-edge marketing research, and innovative training programs that deliver results. The center has 4 main initiatives: International Trade Center Core Services, the Texas International Business Accelerator, the International SBDC Expansion Initiative, and the SBDCGlobal.com. The ITC has worked with Ex-Im Bank, Bank's Southwest Regional Office, for a number of years to assist small Texas businesses in financing their exports. The business relationship was formalized actually, when it became a city-state partner in January of 2012. The ITC has increased exports, get this, on financed loan volume from, in fiscal year 2011, they were at $9 million. In fiscal year 2012, it was $45 million. That is a pretty good result, so thank you. The third award is a new one. It's the Minority Business Exporter of the Year. And I'm going to turn the podium over to Alejandra Cote. I can't pronounce your name. I'm sorry. I'm from the Delta. Castillo. She is the National Deputy Director of Minority Business Development Agency in the Department of Commerce.
Good afternoon. My name is Alejandra Castillo, and I have the distinct honor of announcing this year's Minority Business Exporter of the Year. And the winner is Sana International Commerce, Inc., the recipient, Jorge Sanchez, president of Sana, accompanied by Tammy Maxwell, Export Finance Manager, Small Business Group. Sana International Commerce, Inc. was founded in 1994 by Jorge Sanchez and is dedicated to the sales, repair, and maintenance of heavy equipment for the oil field, locomotive, marine, industrial instrumentation, and ecology and environment industries. Over the years, the company has established a market presence in the countries of North America, Latin America, Europe, and Asia, thanks in large part to the support of different government entities, including Ex-Im Bank. Sana's sales have increased from $400,000 just 8 years ago, when it started using Ex-Im Bank's working capital products, to a record $8.38 million in FY 2012. Thank you very much.
Okay. Well, we're getting close to the final, we are at the final one. The ninth and final one is the Deal of the Year. Now, I know Fred has kind of mentioned it when he was talking, but, it bears repeating, as my mother-in-law always says. Congratulations to Sadara Chemical Company. The recipient is Carol Williams, Executive Vice President from Dow Operations, and she's accompanied by Hannah L. Mohandes. Ex-Im Bank approved a $4.975 billion, that's B with $1 billion loan to Sadara Chemical Company for the export of American goods and services required in the construction of a petrochemical complex in Jamal Industrial City 2 in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The transaction was Ex-Im Bank's largest single authorization ever, both in terms of dollar amount and in estimated job support. Likewise, it is estimated that the authorization supported more small business jobs than any other transaction in the bank's history. The transaction will support more than 18,000 American jobs across 13 states. I'm not going to mention the states. Located in the eastern province of Saudi Arabia, the mega project will develop significant downstream capabilities for production in fast-moving and growing markets in the Middle East. Sadara will be the largest integrated petrochemical complex ever constructed in a single phase. Congratulations. Do you want to get a group picture with him?
We're going to try, we can do that. We get that in? Squish. All right, we got a squish.
I had a comment right before the presentation from Lisa Hallett, and interesting comment. She came up and thanked me for the bank and on her behalf for the bank's involvement in her business. She said, "Without you, we couldn't do it," and we appreciate that. But the real exporting is done out here in this room by you, the men and women that are represented out here, and that's the important part. You have to understand we can help you, but we don't do it. You're the one that really does the work, and we understand that, and we appreciate you so much. Let me find my last note. We have some house cleaning things I'd like to discuss. Well, first of all, there are going to be, starting at 2:30, breakout sessions. We invite each and every one of you to attend those. They're listed in the program. There's also a reception at 5:30 in the Blue Room, so we'd like to see you there too. Tomorrow we're going to reconvene for a continental breakfast. And by the way, was lunch pretty good? Because I haven't eaten yet, and I'm actually looking forward to getting out there. So I'm going to hurry through this. We're going to meet at 7:30 again in the morning in the ballroom for a continental breakfast. And at 9 a.m., we'll have the first session. The speaker is a gentleman by the name of Larry Summers. He is the former president of Harvard University, which is kind of a big deal, you know, when you're living in Arkansas, Harvard. I sent a resume up there, or an application, and came back. And then he is also the 71st Secretary of Treasury, which I had the pleasure of working in the first Bush administration in the Treasury Department. So I appreciate that work too. Later tomorrow, we're going to be joined by a gentleman by the name of Vice President Joseph Biden. He will be the luncheon speaker. So, good. We would like to let you know that you need to be in this room well before 9 o'clock because they're going to secure the room this evening, and then you'll have to go through security in order to get in here, and you can't wait until 9 o'clock. It'll be a nightmare. So please, as you have your coffee, come on in here and kind of get moving. Nikki, do you know when that would start exactly? Nikki? Does anybody know? Dan, do you know? No, I know the meeting starts at 9. When does the security start? Nobody knows. Just be early. The other thing I'd like to point out is there's a survey about the conference, and you can actually do it on your smartphones. And that'd be a great way, kind of takes the paper away, we get it immediately, and it gives us an idea of what you think about this, about the conference, especially the awards presentations. Please mark that very, very high on the survey. Not for me, but for the award winners. Thank y'all, and enjoy the afternoon.
Beautiful.